For our presentation, our group will be presenting on 23andMe filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2025. 23andMe is a personal genometrics and biotechnology company that offers direct-to-consumer genetic testing services. It allows individuals to learn about their ancestry, genetic traits, health risks, and potential medication responses by analyzing their DNA through simple at-home saliva tests. 23andMe offers customers a variety of different products and services, including ancestry testing, which provides information of ethnicity, relatives, migration history, and traits influenced by genetics, health reports, 23andMe+, telehealth, which allows easy online consultations, and research, which gives customers the opportunity to participate in research studies. The company also lists 6 values on their company homepage. These include Think Big, which encompasses the idea that they have big dreams of using data to revolutionize health, wellness, and research. We Heart DNA, meaning that the company truly loves what they are doing. Lead with Science, which tells us that they make evidence-based decisions. Get to yes or no quickly, meaning that they want to have an answer in a timely manner, even if it's not the answer they're looking for. Behind every data point is a human being, signifying that they put customers first and recognize that every person they interact with has a whole story of ancestry. And finally, we're in this together, acknowledging that great ideas come from everywhere and that everyone can contribute to success. Company history. In April of 2006, the company was founded by Ann Wojcicki, Linda Avey, and Paul Kasunza, with a mission to empower individuals with convenient access to their DNA and genetic information. In 2007, the company launched its first consumer DNA test kit for ancestry and health awareness. In 2013, the FDA ordered 23andMe to stop selling health-related tests, which led to suspicion of health reports to the public. In 2015, the FDA authorized limited testing to continue, and in October of 2023, the company experienced a major data breach affecting 7 million users and leading to lawsuits and damage to the company reputation. Sales declined sharply and 40% of the workforce was laid off. General company information. The company currently has 265 employees. Their main competitor is Ancestry DNA. The company is under the leadership of Joseph Celsavage. Their market share is currently about 25 to 30% of direct-to-consumer genetic testing. Their international domain includes over 50 countries, and the industry is diagnostics and research.
Downfall of 23andMe. In late 2023, hackers gained access to millions of users' sensitive genetic and personal info. They used a method called credential stuffing, which basically means they tried passwords stolen from other sites until they would get into users' 23andMe accounts. Business performance decline. This breach devastated the company's value from being worth $6 billion just a couple years earlier to eventually dropping to $48 million. The stock price also tanked, forcing the company to consider being bought or facing bankruptcy. Loss of consumer trust. One of the biggest problems was how 23andMe handled it publicly. Instead of taking responsibility, they blamed users for not updating passwords after unrelated incidents. This made people angry and scared, leading many to delete their accounts and discouraging new customers. 23andMe's troubles show how important trust and transparency are, especially when dealing with sensitive health data. When those are lost, it can cause serious damage to both reputation and business.
23andMe response and actions. What are they doing about it? They launched an investigation on their data breach. Hackers got a hold of the data because it was poorly secured, which made a dent in their customers trusting 23andMe with their personalized data. Mandatory password resets, obviously with everyone's data being endangered. 23andMe had all of their users change their password. They added a 2-step verification, so every time you log in, they would ask to verify that it's you with a notification on another device. Investment in security, obviously, and then additional auditing, just making sure that everything's running smoothly, double and triple checking, making sure they learn from their past mistakes. And then, do we agree with these responses and actions? 23andMe response with especially improving security measures and with their financial statement was necessary, but it was overdue. With this delayed detection and the handling of the data that has been breached before shows the shortcomings of the company. All in all, with some of the actions that 23andMe has done to try to save their company, a lot of these responses and actions could have been prevented earlier on.
23andMe has not been successful in their strategic responses. They could have done better by being more sincere and apologetic in their apology to the public. They could have been proactive with their policy to avoid getting sued again and again after the breach and to protect customers. They did not seem to learn their lesson, putting a price tag on customer data as they went for sale after bankruptcy. This strategic alternative to give them time to and avoid legal fees weakened their sincerity and perceived care for consumers even more. They need an intense remodeling and restructuring and to revisit a marketing plan. 23andMe has been dealing with many issues and has tried many different tactics to try to stay afloat. While they are taking steps to try to mitigate problems in their company, such as their security breach in 2023 that led to bankruptcy in 2025, their 2023 security breach was an unfortunate event that caused a large amount of trust to be lost. It has ultimately led to their downfall, leaving them in a pit that their current strategies are not digging them out of. Consumers were concerned for their privacy and wanted to know where their data has gone. The added security for 23andMe was a reactive approach to the crisis rather than proactive. The lack of security concerning very important and sensitive company and consumer data led to legal scrutiny and bankruptcy. 23andMe filing for bankruptcy was meant to give them the opportunity to better the company through time instead of a better business model. Neither their initial strategic response nor their strategic alternative has been enough to restore the business and consumer trust. While not successful so far, the strategic alternative of bankruptcy may help the company in the long run if the buyer of 23andMe has a trustworthy and ethical background. They would need to enforce a new sustainable business model that is strong enough to regain consumer trust. There is the opportunity of rebranding.
23andMe recommended actions. There are 3 recommended actions that 23andMe can take. The first one being lower prices. While consumer trust has been broken for 23andMe, by lowering their prices, this can help cause an increase in demand, allowing them to start making marginally greater profits. However, they would possibly have to downsize, as they may not make enough revenue to be financially stable. While this is not the most ideal for 23andMe, it does allow them to break away from bankruptcy and become more stable. The second action is a PR statement. 23andMe put out a statement putting the blame on victims, saying users negligently recycled and failed to update their passwords following these past security incidents, which are unrelated to 23andMe. Doing this only hurts the trust of consumers. By putting out a statement showing 23andMe's accountability for their actions, they can gain some of the consumers' trust back. The third and final action is a merger/buyout. Because 23andMe no longer has consumer trust and is lacking in profits, they could find another small biotech firm to merge with to become bigger and gain more trust, allowing them to earn more profits. They could also look at being bought out by another company. A buyout is more promising as it allows employees to mainly keep their jobs, while mergers, some employees may get laid off.
Today I'm going to show how 23andMe's collapse relates to 4 important management principles from our textbook by Carnegie. First, strategic planning is defined as a process of setting long-term goals and deciding the best way to achieve them. After going public, 23andMe lost clear strategic direction, which led to a decline in their competitive advantage. To turn things around, they need to refocus on innovation and rebuild consumer trust. Next, organizational culture refers to the shared assumptions, values, and beliefs that shape how people behave in an organization. Unfortunately, 23andMe's weak culture around data ethics damaged user confidence. Shifting toward a clan culture that encourages collaboration and loyalty could help regain that trust. The third concept is transformational leadership. It's described as a leadership style that inspires employees to put organizational goals ahead of self-interest through vision and charisma. During the crisis, the CEO's leadership lacked this transformational quality. Adopting it now could boost employee morale and improve the company's reputation. Finally, decision-making is the process of identifying and choosing among alternative courses of action. 23andMe's response showed signs of non-rational decision-making, such as satisfying, where they settled for solutions that were just good enough. Moving forward, they should focus on evidence-based decision-making to better handle challenges. In short, applying these management principles offers a clear path for 23andMe's recovery and future success.
In conclusion, after the data breach in October of 2023, 23andMe took several actions to try to regain the trust of their customers. They attempted to do this by implementing things like mandatory password reset, two-step verification, and investment in security, but the damage had already been done and 23andMe was delayed in their response. The company utilized a retrenchment strategy by filing for bankruptcy, hoping that it would give them the opportunity to downsize and rebuild. Our recommended actions for 23andMe are to lower their prices, issue a PR statement, and to consider merging with another company. And these are the sources we utilized for this project.